Michelle Russell?
Good evening. First off, I want to thank you for allowing me to speak today. I've come from Kansas, and I'm a professional breeder, and I take what I do very seriously. I have never in all my life done anything more passionately than breed dogs. They're my life. Ask my family and my children. They will tell you that in our house, it's always dogs first. I have a book here that I brought along with me, and it was very hastily put together because I didn't find out about this hearing until late Tuesday afternoon. So it took me by surprise. Not a lot of time to put things together, but I did throw a few things together because one of the things that I was told or heard that is an untruth is that our dogs stay in cages, and that's only life that they have, and that is wrong. So I want you to be able to pass this book around and look if you would like. There's also letters in the back from people who have purchased puppies from pet stores. I did not bring any of the letters from people who have purchased from me directly because I do sell to both. But read those letters. These people have bought the puppies from the pet store, and then they find us via the internet because we know that since the invention of the internet, there's no secrets. So please feel free to look me up. Feel free to look up my website. I'm very proud of what I do. I have nothing to be ashamed of. So this little lady here, I want everybody to see this little lady. She's passed now, but I will tell you this. Once a week for a very long time, I would go to the nursing homes on my way home from the vet, whether they were puppies or adult dogs. We would stop in and visit. And up in the main area of the nursing home was elderly people sitting in wheelchairs with their heads dropped to the floor. But I want to tell you, when I put a puppy in their arms, the smile that would come across their face was worth $1 million. That's part of what we do. Then a couple other ones that I want you to see is this picture here is a classroom full of kindergartners playing with our puppies that we take to school for the children to see. And then finally, this one is probably one of the most specialist pictures, and it's a picture of my granddaughter, born with hypoplastic left heart syndrome. You probably don't know what that was. I didn't either until she had it at birth. Basically, she has half a heart. She's had 3 open heart surgeries before she was 3 years old. This little daughter here, she was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress syndrome before the age of 1 year because of all her time in the hospitals. Her life was very touch and go for a long time. And I'm telling you all this too because I don't want to draw your sympathy. It's because of her dog. She has a German Shepherd, and this is her rescue dog, and it came from a breeder, a commercial breeder. We don't breed German Shepherds, but this is the dog that was right for her. And this dog, when she becomes scared and frightened, this dog knows how to interact with her to calm her down. So there are purposely bred dogs by commercial breeders that are out there in society and doing a very good job. So if anybody would like to see this, would you like to pass it around and look at the pictures? Read some of the things if you would like. Working dogs doing what working dogs do. There are some of our dogs. You will see hunting dogs, Labradors, jumping in ponds, chasing dummies. You will see a beagle out hunting in the snow. Just a few weeks ago, we hadn't had much snow, but you'll see a beagle out rabbit hunting. So these dogs are not just sitting in cages. They're doing what they do and would do in a home environment. The bulldogs in there are all bulldogs that I have raised. There's one that is a picture inside of my kennel where the bulldog is at. So now that's not my talk, so I'll get started with that. My name is Michelle, and I'm a professional dog breeder from Kansas. Now, how many right here in this room now has already judged me by that statement, breeder? It happens every time I tell people what I do. How many here have any idea what my day includes? Each day starts well before daylight. Kennel checks done before coffee. Next is feeding, cleaning pens, taking care of animals. We do our paperwork in the afternoon when we can find time. And then there's other things that we do.
Michelle, I'm sorry, but your time is up. Each speaker has 5 minutes.
Sorry.
Can I just concede my minutes, please? She's flown all the way here.
I've been up over 30 hours to come here,
Sorry.
but it's okay.
I mean, if you could read what else she has, that'd be fine. Because if I let her do this, then I have to let anybody else give extra time. I mean, this is not some rules that we just made up. This is rules that's been with our council in the chambers. Each individual has an opportunity to speak.
Hi, coming up. Lonnie Tyler.
You're actually the next person I was going to call.
All right.
So are you going to be using your time for her?
I am.
Okay.
I am. All right. Monday of this week, I spent my spare time planning an educational seminar that our state organization will host on April 1st and 2nd, and working with an AKC on a health clinic for 80 of my fellow Kansas breeders. Tuesday, my veterinarian came by to examine my dogs and do health testing for OFA certifications. Wednesday evening, I attended a breeders group meeting for more continuing education, then home to chores, and off to the airport to catch a flight to Phoenix to have 3 minutes to ask you to please take your time to do your own research before you make your decision that could very well change the life of Frank and Vicky Mineo and all of the business and people they work with, myself included. Breeders are some of the hardest working people I have the pleasure of knowing. The care of our dogs have always been and will be the first and foremost. Our families know that even life events such as graduations, weddings, and even funerals can have vacant seats because Susie has decided it is whelping day, or a newborn puppy that just needs a little bit of extra attention. All because we are dedicated to providing the needs of every dog and puppy that we have in our kennels. We have learned from the experts in the field of animal care and welfare, and some of our best resources, the expertise of breeders and their years of experience. In my circumstance, I worked as a veterinarian assistant for 11 years. During that time, I assisted the doctor with routine health exams, spays, neuters, cesarean sections, and caring for sick patients. I was also fortunate to be mentored by the breeders who had lifetime experience in dog breeding. This was all done before I whelped my first litter. Most of all, breeders will have stories just like mine, a desire to be able to raise healthy, social puppies to provide years of companionship to their people. I spoke briefly about health testing our dogs. It is a common practice for breeders to do breed-specific testing to ensure the health of our puppies. Any dog who would not meet the guidelines would be spayed, neutered, and placed in a pet home. The adult dogs here at our kennel are fed very high-quality food that provides them the nutrition they need to keep them fit and in good body flesh. They receive better veterinarian care than most house pets. We do yearly oral exams and teeth scaling. Every 3 months, our furry dogs make a trip to the vet's office to visit the groomer. We have standing appointments every Thursday of the week of the year to use as we need. Our adults and puppies live in climate-controlled environment where they are free to go outside as they wish. Their enclosures exceed the USDA minimal standards. We provide and exercise play areas for them to socialize with each other and our family members. Please know that we are not an exception. Most all professional breeders have the similar practices. Here in my state, we have asked the veterinarians to provide data on their breeders' puppies in regards to their overall health. They are recording their findings so we can have the data recorded for the health and temperaments of the puppies. I urge you to not follow along with the hype and untruths that pet store puppies or purposely bred puppies are unhealthy, because that is just untrue. No professional breeder would ever send a puppy to a pet store without it being the legal age of 8 weeks without a health certificate from their veterinarian. In fact, smaller breeders such as Yorkies do not leave their breeder until 10 to 12 weeks of age. Upon arrival to the pet store, the puppy is once again examined by their veterinarian for a second opinion. It has been said that the breeders who sell to pet stores are unethical. It has been said that buying from pet stores ensures that you have a puppy that will be sick and unsocialized. Here again, more propaganda. The reality is, in this country, we do not have pet overpopulation problem. There are cities that would not have one dog in their facility if we are not importing street dogs from the countries outside of the U.S. These dogs are not pets. They have not been socialized, nor have they been vetted. In 2015 alone, we have all read the headlines of the imported dogs bringing in rabies new strands of the flu in which we have no vaccines for, not to mention parasites into this country, all jeopardizing not only the health of our dogs here in the U.S., but also to our citizens. How many dog attacks and child maulings and even deaths before we decide maybe this isn't a good thing? Who will take the responsibility for these actions? Who will be held accountable? Retail rescue is another unregulated industry. Dogs in small towns that are being bred, stolen, or surrendered for numerous behavioral issues being transported over state lines without proper vet care nor certifications to be sold. The sad thing is most will return right back to the shelter to be sold again. Where is the outcry here? In America, we are passionate about our pets. We treat them like our family members, and rightfully so. I remember my first conversation with Frank. He asked for my credentials. Even the families I worked with directly did not ask for these types of references. We supplied them with vet references. I sent 3, all from different practices. Inspection reports, this was before the information was not disclosed by the USDA, and personal references. I applauded him for that. I also asked the same from him. We have had a working relationship since. I know I can trust his team to find puppies that I loved and cared for a good home. They have pet counselors to, all right. In closing, I believe this country has deep roots in animal agriculture. We have also ensured the right for free enterprise under the Constitution. I believe that the Mineo family has the right to sell purposely bred puppies raised by professional breeders. His parents started this business years ago and it continues to prosper. Would that have been possible if they did not have a passion for what they do so? If they were buying sick and unhealthy pets and reselling them? I think not. I ask you to consider these points that I've made and vote accordingly. Please do not buy the untruths. I've got another email, actually, from a breeder that could not be here that I was originally going to read. Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Right. Awesome.